Today we're doing a vertical stream. So sorry if that interferes with the way you watch these, but I do want to experiment with the vertical format today. And I'm having a hard time pulling up my internet on my iPad. There's something going on with my network right now. So just bear with me for a minute. But we're going to start today with printing another layer on this print. So today we'll be adding another green layer on top of this green layer here. And as you can see, my block is getting complex with all the little bits that I'm carving away. And I'm using a Dremel tool. You can see I just stippled with a red marker where I wanted to take away material. And then I came in with the Dremel tool, which is just a rotary tool. And I just started carving in these little spots. So it's going to be an interesting texture that I create, I think. You can see that our print here is coming along. This green is a little too dark, so today we're going to do a gradation of a slightly lighter green at the base, and then to the top it's going to transition to a little bit more yellow, of a yellow green. So I'm going to start by mixing some color today. So let's start by mixing a yellow green. We'll be using this roller here. So I want the yellow green to be on the right side and then the darker, more blue green on the left side. So we'll start by mixing a yellow green. This is a yellow ochre. That's looking pretty good already. It's a yellow ochre and it's called green earth, which are these Cranfield traditional relief inks. I also have some cobalt blue here. So I'm going to mix a second pile with some more blue, a blue tone in it. Just try to get some varying shades of green. Good afternoon, Pam. I'm viewing this through my phone because I can't, for some reason my iPad won't pull up the internet. There's something going on with my internet here. So I can see the comments on my phone. I think if I pay attention to that, and I am starting with I'm streaming with the vertical format today, so it's going to be a little bit different. But they have this new AI tool that will automatically create a highlighted reel from your vertical format live stream. So I want to try that and experiment with that a little and see if that's working yet. So we have our color sheet here that I've been documenting all my colors on. You can see this is the color of the green that I used last time. So I can just take a little bit of this green and just add it on top. It's not much difference. So that one we might have to lighten up a little bit. And then this yellow green, put it on top. And that has a distinct difference. So we're going to need this green to go a little bit more yellow. Just a little bit, I think will work. This yellow ochre has some opacity to it, so it'll sit on top of that dark green well. I'm going to actually make this a little bit more yellow. There's some people out front of my building and they're talking loudly, so hopefully that doesn't interfere with our stream today. So I don't think I'm going to add any transparent base to these today. I think I'm just going to use them as is. So I'm going to put these two colors right next to each other. Like so. Some more comments. Bowling Galley Pizza. What's your opinion on, I don't know, hi. So these are some new people joining in. Welcome. I'm doing printmaking here. It's linoleum relief printing. Very nice looking colors. And I think we're almost ready to roll out the ink here. Just need to find my scraper tool. Here it is. I'll just keep my palette clean when I start. Yeah, so YouTube's pushing this vertical format live stream because they have this new AI technology that can make highlights of your stream and publish it as a short. I need more paper towels, so I'm going to grab a few of those. I think we're ready to go. So I'm a little delayed today. I'm a little unprepared for the stream. Is my internet coming up finally? Let's see. It's wanting to. Where am I from? I'm in New York City. And I'm making some prints, some relief prints using a linoleum block that's glued to a piece of birch plywood. And this is the print we're working on. It's a landscape of an area that I do a lot of climbing at. And we're slowly building this layer by layer. So I've done almost all of these impressions on live stream. So we're just continuing with the process today. So it's a little monotonous, it's a little slow, but that's just the way printmaking is. So if you can hang out for a little while and watch what's going on, thank you very much. So this is the roller we're using today. Just going to slowly start to pull the ink back. And you can see the perfect little gradation in the middle, but I want it to blend a little bit more. So I just turn it on an angle. And those two colors will mix a little bit more on the palette. I need some more of this green on the end of the roller, so I'm going to pull some of that down. Yeah, this is a printmaking live stream. Obviously, Instagram is publishing this or showing this to other people because it's the first time I've done it in a vertical format, I think. Anyway, so there's our roller, and we're going to apply it to the block now. Gradually. And as I mentioned before, I use a Dremel tool or a rotary tool to get all of these little textures in this block. So that was fun. And I've never really used it before for printmaking, so just experimenting with it. I'm just rolling this ink on the piece of linoleum or lino. Make sure I cover the whole surface equally. That looks and feels good. I'll turn my block here. You always make sure that the registration or the Kento marks are clean, so we keep the edge of our paper clean. Yeah, I have Instagram. It's my name, Steven Wienecke. I am an artist. I do printmaking and I do painting. But mostly I cover printmaking on this YouTube channel. So here we go. This is going to be the first impression of the day. We'll be covering up most of this dark green, and there's a darker green. So I did a couple impressions, guys, people that are familiar with what's going on here. I did a couple of impressions off the live stream. I just was trying to move this project along. And the last time I left off, I was doing these grays for this rock area. So I did do a dark and a dark, almost of a black color, as you can see there, and then a green. So I had to do that just to keep moving this project along. So here we go. Let's close this window so that the sun doesn't shine through. And I just press the paper down gently with this, which is called a baron. It's a Japanese woodblock printmaking baron. And I could take the whole impression that way if I want to spend time rubbing the back of this sheet. But I have a printing press that's right here, so I'm going to do that instead. It's faster for me right now. So I run this through the press one time. I'm going to bring the block over here and we'll reveal what it looks like. And you can see how it's changed. We have some beautiful greenery in our landscape with a nice little green gradation on top. And this mountain in the foreground is really starting to come together now. So yeah, I'm liking that so far. So we can see we'll do a before and after real quick, just so everyone can see. This was before this impression. Let's hold these up. This paper is thin. This is a paper from Japan. So this is a before, and this is after. And I have the sunlight coming through, so it's kind of interfering with how you're seeing this. But you can see it's a subtle difference. Yeah, I have the sunlight coming through my, actually I have my overhead light on. Let me turn that off. That's no good. Now we just have natural light coming through. That was interfering with it. So yeah, it went from being really dark, kind of flat, to now it has some life to it. Yeah, I have other artwork to show, but I'm going to be working on this project today. But if you want to see more of my artwork or more of my videos, just go to my YouTube channel, subscribe, and I got tons of projects, tons of different work. But today I'm working on this. I could show you this project, so it's sitting right here. This is another print that I'm working on. I haven't showed. This is the beginning of a new print. And these are the base tones for the sky, the distant ground, and a rock feature, a rock formation. So I've been making progress on that one as well. And today we're just going to keep going with this. Let's see. Thanks, Pam. Yeah, my Instagram is just my name. So it's the same name that's on this live stream. So So you can just copy and paste that. So we got some delivery guys out front. I'm in New York City in the Bronx. There's a school across the street, a middle school. And all day long they have like deliveries of like milk, supplies and food, all this different stuff. And the delivery guys like to hang out there and just chat. But actually the guys that are down there now are just my neighbors. They just like sit out there, smoke cigarettes and walk their dogs, and they just hang out. They're harmless. But they're like right outside my window, probably like 10 feet away. So I can hear them talking. It's messing with my concentration. Let's see if my internet's working. Why is my internet not working? Oh well. So here we go, let's do another one. Same as before. Just lightly press that down to get it started. Through the press, one time. Yeah, it's starting to come together. Now that I'm seeing at the stage where it's at now, I'm thinking maybe 1 or 2 more impressions is all it's going to take to finish this one off. I want to add a little bit of yellow, a little bit of orange, and a little bit of red tone to some of the trees. So maybe 2 or 3 more impressions on this and this thing will be finished. I'm kind of liking where it's at right now, but I think I can push it a little bit further and keep bringing these greens and these trees, some variety into the trees forward. But man, this project's been going on for a while. I'm excited to get it finished, wrap things up with this one. Let's see how many impressions it took to get to this point so far. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This is the 16th impression on this print. So it's going to be about 20 altogether. I was hoping for maybe 12, but it looks like it's going to be about 20 in the end. Yeah, we're definitely getting some different people here today. Welcome if you're new. This is woodblock, well, linoleum relief printmaking. These are oil-based pigments on a piece of linoleum that I carve by hand. And it's relief printing, meaning you take away the material as you go. So this block slowly has been carved away, piece by piece, and every time you just reveal a new shape, a new color on top of the last. It's a super fun way to make images, and it could be as complex or as simple as you want it to be. It could be 1 color, 1 impression. You could do 2 colors, 2 impressions, or in this case, 20 impressions. So 20 different carvings, sessions, 20 different colors overlapping each other. And because this roller is so large, I'm getting ink on my corner registration, so I gotta make sure I clean that every time. keep an eye on that. So this green, yellow green is going over top of this. And this paper is a Japanese paper made mostly of kozo fibers, which is really strong fiber from a mulberry plant. So put it through the press. One pass. Slowly reveal. Yeah, I had fun with this print. I did these like lines in the sky to create this like glowing sun texture. I'm using some purples in the distance. Just kind of inventing the color as I go along. And because I'm using a registration, or I'm lining up the paper's edge with these registration marks, there's a corner piece and a flat piece, so the paper every time goes in exactly in the same place, the same spot. So every time I carve, I'll carve more away from the block and I'll do another impression on top of this. So there's a couple more impressions to do before this print's officially finished. Let's see if I can find a print that I can show people real quick. Another example of my work. Someone was asking if I can find something. Here we go. Everything's up in storage here. Let's just grab this one, because this one I did on a live stream as well. Similar subject matter. And this is of a climber. This is the same area, the climbing area that I rock climb at. It's called the Gunks. It's about an hour and a half north of New York City. And this is using a water-based Mokahanga style in the background, and then this is oil-based. The rock feature is oil. So that's both mediums on the same print. Same thing, reductive print. This one took almost 30 impressions to complete. There's all these little areas in the climber. And this print took a long time, but I did most of this on a live stream as well. And I have one more print here, since it's here. This is another smaller one. This is of the same climbing area. And same idea, the background, the green and blue back here is water-based pigment. And this is on washi, or Japanese paper. And then all of the rock feature was done with woodblock, but with oil pigments. And that's of the same area. And so those climbing areas are in this cliff. They're down further around the corner, but they're on this rock cliff. If you zoom in, this is about 300 feet from the base of the cliff to the top. And there's amazing rock climbing there. And I go there, I've been going there for about 15 years. And I have an exhibition at the visitor center next month. So these prints are all going to be in the exhibition. And I'm finishing up this one for the exhibition. This one and the one that I'm working on here. This will be the last. Hopefully I can get this one finished. So this one will be done probably in a few days, and then I'll work on that one. Get those framed up, and then exhibition will open November 4th. Yeah, and this Dremel tool that I'm using is really nice. I want to do more with that. It's such a easy way to carve, like textures and sounds like we have another truck pulling up. Let's check it out. Oh, that's just a garbage truck. So I live on a very noisy street. It's a one-way street. It's a tiny street. But there's only one way in and one way out to this block. So we get a lot of traffic that comes through. A lot of honking, a lot of traffic jams. So I apologize for any noise, but those are they're stuck because someone's got a moving truck here. Someone's getting some appliances. So there's someone's delivering a stove or a refrigerator or something, and they're blocking the whole street, and now the garbage truck can't get through. And that's just how it is when you live in New York City. I'm really happy with how this one's turning out. A few impressions ago, I had no idea what this was going to be, and now I can start to see where it's going to finish. So that's a relief, because I was a little worried there. So you have to trust the process and trust that you're making good decisions, and just have faith that it's all going to turn out in the end. So I apologize if you guys can hear that noise. So we have 15 people on this live stream, and I think that's a record. So thank you everyone for checking in. And please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. If you're into printmaking or painting, then I could teach you or show you my process and share it with you. All right, the traffic is moving along out front. Looks like the truck is done delivering. So hopefully there's no more noise. A few of these sheets on the last couple impressions, I just printed them very thinly. And I wasn't too happy. Here's an example. I wasn't too happy with how, you could see here at the top, the ink wasn't really, it was too thin. So I'm going to see if this impression, I put a lot of ink on this one, so I want to see if I can fill in those gaps where that white of the paper is showing through there. And hopefully that will correct that issue. You know, some of these, if some of these don't work out, I just don't include them in the additioning. When I addition the whole stack, I'll just take those out. So let's see how this works. I'm going to put this through the press. I'm just going to put it through twice. Just get a little extra pressure on this one. Let's see how that works. Sometimes I like a little bit of the paper showing through, but sometimes you need a nice, yeah, it seemed to help a little bit. You know, just kind of add some atmosphere, I guess. The top. All right, just keep chugging along. What if anyone's saying anything? I can't see. I'm on my phone here. Sorry, I just shook the phone. So that's pretty much it. This is the work for the day. I'm curious to see if YouTube's gonna try that new AI tool. So maybe I should bring the camera over to the press so I can get a section of that on the, sorry for the moving of the camera. I'm gonna bring you over here for a moment. Raise this up, like so. And then I'm gonna turn so you can see the press. So hang on 1 second. Let me lay this sheet down on the block. And then here we go. Come back at you. Come on. It's hard to do at this angle. Now I'll bring it back over to the table. There we are. Back at the palette. So work on this like big piece of glass. I love using these brayers. They're from this company here. They're so much nicer than those little red ones. The rubber that they use in these rollers are just, it's really nice. It applies the ink super smooth. They're expensive though. I think that thing was like 250 bucks or something like that, 200 bucks. So here goes another one. This one's quite dark. You can't really see the definition of the black. So let's see if this impression helps pull it together. I try to make these prints as consistent as possible. but you do get some variety, which I enjoy. I'm not a machine, I'm not like a printer. I'm not Epson HP printer. I'm like handmade, hand carved, hand pulled prints, so everyone's a little bit different. Yeah, see, that comes through a little bit, the definition of the dark and the... Yeah, it's starting to have volume. The trees are starting to have volume. They're starting to come out from the rock. It's not so flat anymore. There's some depth there. And that's the goal. I want to knock down that edge a little because it keeps... This edge of the corner Kento, or the registration mark, keeps catching ink and it keeps cutting into my paper. So I'm just going to carve a little bit of that away. This doesn't need to be so high. So these are the tools I use to carve linoleum. So here we go. This one's another dark one. You can't really see the definition of the black and the green. But this impression really seems to be helping that. I really like these yellow horizontal lines. They really work well to carry that. See, from a distance you lose their lines. It just blends together visually. But then up close you can see they're just wiggly, squiggle, carved lines. But from a distance they just blend. They soften. So that's cool. I'm going to start doing that more, I think, like that. Today's Friday. Sorry I haven't been able to do any live streams. This week was quite busy for me. Had some car troubles. I take the car to the shop. My wife's birthday was this week. Actually had an interview for a job at the Met, the Metropolitan Museum of Art. So I had to go there yesterday for in-person they called it a practical examination where I actually had to go there, and I'm applying for this gallery technician position, and I actually had to go there and handle some artwork in front of people, and it was quite nerve-wracking. Made a couple mistakes, but I went into it blind. I didn't know what to expect, and I did my best, so that's all I can do. But yeah, this week has been quite busy. Yeah, man, this thing's coming together. I don't know if you can see that. So that's exciting. And I got all this ink everywhere. I'm gonna just have to keep cleaning it as I go along. That's the only problem with this roller compared to these little speedball rollers. I can get really accurate because the roller's so small. It's easier to control where the ink is going. But with this guy, it's really easy to get the ink in places where you don't want it. On the edges of other, keep hitting this far margin. So you just have to take a little bit of extra care and wipe off all that extra ink that you left on the surface. We try to keep the margins clean as possible. But whenever we get a smudge on a sheet, Pam just buys it for me. So after this, I'm going to sit down and see if this new AI tool will create a short for me based on what you've seen today. And maybe you'll see a short on my YouTube video that highlights today's activity. Let's see how many people are here. We have 7 people. A little bit more of this ink. So yeah, my wife and I are going to go out for dinner. My son has Taekwondo. We're going to go to dinner to celebrate her birthday because we weren't able to the other day because our car was broke down. Unfortunately, we didn't have a vehicle, and Henry had soccer practice, and so it just didn't work out. So tonight we'll get an hour and a half to ourselves at the a nice Italian restaurant. And they have really good calamari. That's what I'm excited about. I'm also excited for an hour and a half of adult time. You get a lot of adult time when you have kids, you know? I don't have kids, I have a kid. Most of my time is running him around to sports, to school and back, soccer games on the weekends. It's all great stuff. Sometimes he lets me play. He lets me play him in PlayStation. We play FC or football club. It's like FIFA on PlayStation. Soccer game. And man, he kicks my butt all the time. He always wins. So I make him be like really, I'm like always the best team, like Real Madrid or something like that. And I make him be a team that's 10 points less and he still wins. I don't know how he does it. Kid's 8 years old. So I'm rambling. So that's a good sign to end the stream. I'm going to continue with these until they're finished. I have probably 10 more to go. And I'm going to record some of it for YouTube. So I will be ending this stream. If anyone has any questions or comments, please share them now. But if not, I'll see you next time. And look out for that, the short. In a couple hours, let's see if it works. The AI, the new AI tool. I hope it's. I got an email from them saying that it's available, so I didn't research it. I just assume it's ready to go. But I think it's only for vertical format, and that's why. Pam, has it been hard to watch this on the vertical format for you, or is it okay? Or is it showing it to you horizontally? Strange at first. You get used to it. You'll just have to start, if you're watching on, are you watching on a tablet? You can just turn your tablet vertical. You'll have to start watching on your phone, I guess. I don't know, I might not continue to do that. I just wanted to experiment with this one today. Do one more and then I'll say goodbye. And we'll see you next time. Oh, and I've been busy this week making frames. I'll show you. I have an example somewhere. Hold on. My dad sent me some molding to make frames for these small paintings I have. So I've been making little, this is white oak frames. And I have this new miter saw. And these are just little panels, little plywood panels that I paint on. These are just like a little study for a larger painting. But man, you put them in these little frames. And they're just like the cutest little things. So I'll have some of these in my exhibition. I still have to sand the frame and fill in a couple gaps here and there. But these are just making these frames by hand. And yeah, they're kind of looking nice. The image is smaller if you turn your iPad. All right, we'll figure it out, Pam. We'll figure out what's the best way to view these, and you know, I'll experiment with this one today. But yeah, moving forward, I don't know what I'm going to do. This is another image. This is another painting that I have in this frame. Same viewpoint that we're looking at here, just in the winter. And this is just an oil painting on a panel. Little birch plywood panel, but they look really nice in these little frames. These are just little studies that I do for larger paintings that are in the exhibition. So I've been working on these this week as well. It's quite time consuming. Waiting for glue to dry. All right, so I have to put this through the press. And then I will say goodbye to you guys for the day. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Subscribe on my channel. Go back and watch all of my live streams from beginning to end, please. They're only about an hour each. There's about 28 of them. I think this is the 28th live stream. I'm happy with the way this print is coming along. A couple more impressions and it will be done. Maybe even 2 more impressions, 1 or 2 more impressions, I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to just quit at some point in time. Just give up on it, abandon it. But bye for now, see you next time. Have a great weekend. Thanks for bearing with me in the vertical format, Pam.